Tampa, Florida, June 23, 2024, past midnight. The air is thick and warm. In the parking lot of a Home 2 Suites hotel, a birthday celebration is winding down. Music, laughter, someone turning 26. Charles Andrew Jones II, known to the world as Foolio, would not see the morning. More than 30 shots were fired into his vehicle by men who had driven across state lines specifically to find him.
This morning in Hillsborough County, 3 people accused of killing rapper
Foolio.
Rapper Foolio
Shot 31 times.
Police are still looking for the person who shot and killed a rapper, Foolio.
Specifically to end him on his birthday. Foolio was pronounced dead before the sun came up. But if you think this story starts in a Tampa parking lot, you are wrong. This story starts nearly a decade earlier in one of the most overlooked cities in America. A city most people fly over and forget. This story starts in Jacksonville, Florida. And to understand how we got here, you have to go all the way back to the beginning. Chapter 1. The city they built this on, Jacksonville, Florida, is one of the largest cities by land area in the contiguous United States. Larger than New York City. Larger than Los Angeles. A city so vast that entire communities exist within it that the rest of the city has never visited. The North Side, the West Side, the Moncrief Corridor, 45th Street. These are names that mean everything to the people who grew up between them and nothing to everyone else.
He tried to just do the race. Smoking prosper and take fuck niggas died on the same day.
Into this world on June 21st, 1998, Charles Andrew Jones II was born. His childhood home was Hilltop Village, a housing complex the locals called the Bricks. He didn't make it to middle school before death introduced itself. In 2009, at 11 years old, Charles watched his best friend's mother get shot by her boyfriend, right in front of him. 2 years later, his father, Charles Jones Sr., known on the streets as Rick the Ruler, was murdered by a neighbor. Charles was 12. He had seen death twice before his voice finished changing. The family relocated to the west side, hoping distance would mean safety. The violence followed anyway. Chapter 2, Blood Before the War, 2014-2017. By his early teens, Charles Jones II was moving through Jacksonville under a new name. Foolio, and that name was already making enemies. Before there was ever an act. Before any of those names existed, Foolio was already in a conflict with a local crew called Head First Entertainment. In October 2014, She's Big Baby was shot and killed. Foolio was suspected. No charges were filed. She retaliated inside his school cafeteria. Foolio left early that day. Near his home, a shooter found him, opened fire, then looked at him and walked away. Spared him. Foolio spent 5 months relearning to walk. That chapter closed in December 2014 when a 6-block member killed Big Baby. But the reputation of Foolio's crew 6 Block, the core of what would become KTA Kill 'Em All, was now written in blood. Somewhere in 2015, 2 groups of young men crossed paths at a Kodak Black concert in Jacksonville. Someone extended a hand. The handshake was refused. Words followed, fists followed. That was it. No weapons, no bodies, no headlines. Just a moment of disrespect in a concert crowd. Nobody there knew they were watching the beginning of one of the deadliest street conflicts in modern Florida history. December 3rd, 2015, less than a year after that concert, ATK-affiliated Shug is killed by 6 block members in Jacksonville. 1 man is killed, and a 3-year-old girl dies in the crossfire, a child, 3 years old, because 2 groups of young men refused a handshake. May 27, 2017, Foolio's close friend and cousin, 19-year-old Zion Brown, is shot and killed on the west side. A robbery gone wrong. A young man who had nothing to do with any of this dead anyway. For Foolio, Zion's death is not just a loss, it is a detonation. What had been simmering becomes a full boil. And Foolio begins to do what no one had done before in Jacksonville. He starts rapping about it.
I told you time never matter. Forever free JB till it's JB free battle. And the love I got for him, same love I got for Cracker. NFL, never forget where we started. It seemed like yesterday we were just turned up at them parties. It seemed like yesterday 2015 was on that Molly. Had the whole city.
Chapter 3, The Night That Changed Everything, June 5th, 2018. Yungeen Ace born Keonta Tyrone Bullard, the central figure on the ATK side, wants to celebrate. His younger brother Trayvon has just graduated from Ridgeview High School. His best friend Royale Devon Smith Jr., everyone called him 23, has a birthday coming up. Ace suggests they go out to eat. He would later describe it almost word for word. He said, "I insisted, let's go out to eat. It's your birthday. It's something we don't do. We cook. We don't eat out." But that night, they went out. Around 11 p.m., as the group left Wasabi Japanese Steakhouse and moved toward their vehicles, a silver Chevrolet Cruze came alongside them. More than 30 shots were fired into the car. 3 men went out to dinner. Only 1 came home. Trayvon Bullard, 18 years old. The graduate, Royale Devon Smith Jr., 18 years old. 23, the birthday boy. Jerkaby Dashad Groover, 19 years old, all 3 dead. Yungeen Ace was shot 8 times. Doctors didn't expect him to survive. He was released from the hospital in less than 24 hours and walked directly into police custody on a separate parole violation. He later revealed that in the car, during the shooting, he had tried to physically shield his brother with his own body. Ace has spoken publicly about the PTSD, about the survivor's guilt, about knowing he was the one who insisted they go out that night. This is where the tragedy compounds, because what Foolio did next, what came from his side in the days that followed, is the part that made peace permanently impossible. Foolio went on social media and celebrated the deaths. Then he printed t-shirts. T-shirts reading "Rest in Piss 23," mocking Ace's fallen best friend. He sold them at shows. The desecration of dead teenagers, sold as merchandise. Whatever off-ramp existed, whatever chance remained for this to stop, it died with those t-shirts. The hatred that followed was not impulsive, it was permanent. Chapter 4, The Bloodiest Year 2019. 2019 arrived like a verdict. January, Axe boss Goon is killed outside a club on Bay Meadows Road. Within the same month, KTA rapper Lil Buck Charles Quentin McCormick Jr. is also shot and killed. Then February, Foolio's 16-year-old brother Bibby, born Adrian Denner Gaynor Jr., is murdered at an apartment complex in the Moncrief area. A child, 16 years old, dead because of the name he shared with his brother. Axe Kasol Hakeem Robinson releases an album. On the cover, photographs of fallen KTA members, including Bibby. He calls the album Bibby Out. He spends months posting videos bragging about it, taunting a grieving brother publicly. Repeatedly, this is the part that rarely gets discussed, the degree to which this war was being fought simultaneously in the streets and online. Every death became a post. Every death became a song. Every death became ammunition. March 2019, Yungeen Ace survives an assassination attempt after a concert in Waycross, Georgia. One man with him is killed. Days later, Axe Rollo is killed by multiple 6 block members. By the end of 2019, Jacksonville had lost more young men to this single conflict than most cities lose in years, and nobody on either side was done. Chapter 5, Jacksonville Goes Viral, 2021, April 2021. Act artist Spinner Benz, Whopper with the Chopper, Yungeen Ace and Fast Money Goon release a drill track. It goes viral. Not locally, nationally. Internationally, played in cities that couldn't find Jacksonville on a map. The song openly references fallen rivals by name, and it ignites a national debate about drill music's relationship to real-world violence. Jacksonville, long invisible, is suddenly at the absolute center of American culture, for the worst possible reasons. But simultaneously, something else is happening. March 2021, Jacksonville Sheriff's Office arrests Sol Hakeem Robinson and charges him with the murders of Bibby and Lil Buck. His brother Crazy K is also implicated, and their father Abdul Robinson Sr., an alleged senior ATK figure, is implicated as well. Abdul Robinson Sr. pleads guilty and agrees to testify against his own sons, a father against his children, in a murder case. Sol and Crazy K remain behind bars. But here's the thing about wars like this. They don't stop because someone gets arrested. They don't stop because the music goes quiet. They don't stop at all. Chapter 6, Bounties AN Blood Money, 2023. By 2023, the conflict had crossed every border that was supposed to contain it. July 2023, Foolio is shot and wounded in Houston, Texas, a reminder that geography offers no protection when someone has made a decision about you. October 7, 2023, shot again, this time in Jacksonville in his own car. Shot in the foot while driving. 2 shootings. 3 months. He responds by putting a price on someone's head. $20,000 for ACT member Antonio Tilly Jr., rapper, Sol's cousin. Tilly was lured to the home of a KTA hitman named Jaquan Mills, the arrangement made through Mills' girlfriend Diamond Harris. When Tilly arrived, Mills opened fire. He killed Tilly, and he also killed the Uber driver, Bryant Grund, a man with no affiliation to any of this, who accepted a ride request the way any driver would on any ordinary night, dead because someone decided a human life was worth $20,000. Bryant Grund, remember that name. Mills and Harris were arrested weeks later. Foolio then raised the stakes, a $60,000 bounty on the men who shot up his car in October. The war now had a price list. Chapter 7, The Birthday, June 23, 2024. Return to Tampa. June 23, 2024. 5 people drove from Jacksonville to Tampa that night. Not to celebrate. Alicia Andrews and Isaiah Chance Jr. stole a car and made the drive. Three others, Sean Gathright, Rashad Murphy, and Davion Murphy, traveled separately. 5 people, 1 purpose. When they arrived at the pool party venue, they found something they hadn't planned for. Heavy police presence. Officers visible outside. So they waited. The party moved. The night wound down. Foolio and his crew made their way back to the Home 2 Suites. The parking lot. The warm Tampa air, the end of a birthday. More than 30 shots. Foolio Charles Andrew Jones II, born June 21, 1998, Hilltop Village, Jacksonville, Florida, was pronounced dead, 26 years old, exactly the age his birthday had just made him.
Action is underway in Tampa for the murder of Jacksonville rapper Foolio. 4 men are accused of shooting and killing the rapper, whose name was Charles Jones, outside a Tampa hotel. He was celebrating his birthday at the time.
Days later, Yungeen Ace released a track titled Game Over. 2 words that needed no explanation. But the war was not over. Chapter 8, The Aftermath and the Cycle, June 28, 2024, 6 days after Foolio's death. Darius Fizzle-Beals, ACK affiliated, is found shot and killed at his apartment in Orange Park. The message from Carr's side required no press release, no music, no words. The war was not over. The war is never over. And then 2025. A 7-year-old child is shot and killed in Jacksonville. Warrants connect the investigation to groups linked to ACK, 6 Block, and related conflicts. A 7-year-old child. That child was alive when the pool party happened, alive when the Bounties started. Born into a city already at war. They didn't choose this conflict. They didn't even understand it. They were just present. The same way a 3-year-old girl was just present in December 2015. The same way Brian Grun was just present when he accepted a fare. The same way Bibby was just present being Foolio's brother. These are the names that don't get songs. Kassar sits in a jail cell. His father testified against him. Arrests have been made across both sides, some convicted, some awaiting trial. Law enforcement has called this conflict a priority. Federal prosecutors have taken cases that local courts couldn't contain. And still, the cycle continues. Closing reflection, we began in a hotel parking lot in Tampa. 30 shots. A birthday. A man who watched his father get murdered at 12, who got shot at 14 and spent 5 months relearning to walk, who turned his grief into music and his music into fame, and who ran out of time on the night he turned 26. What you have just watched is not a story about rap. It is not a story about Jacksonville. It is a story about what happens when grief has no way out. When loss compounds on loss until retaliation stops being a choice and starts feeling like gravity. Trevon Bullard graduated high school and was dead within a week. Zion Brown was 19. Bibby was 16. A 3-year-old girl never got the chance to become anything at all. None of them chose this war. Most of them didn't even see it coming. They were simply in the wrong place, in the wrong car, with the wrong last name, caught in something that had been building for a decade before it reached them. Foolio is buried now. The music is still playing. The charges are still pending. The funerals are still being held. And somewhere tonight, in the Moncrief corridor, on 45th Street, in the blocks where all of this began, a child is growing up, watching, absorbing everything the adults around them couldn't stop. The cycle does not announce itself. It just continues. Until someone decides it won't.